Oh, yeah! Ladies and gentlemen!
Are you ready for your moment of bliss?
Because what Poppy wants, Poppy gets.
Yowie wowie! I don't even know if that's PG! Acknowledge me! Woo! Oh, you didn't know? Well, let me tell you something, brother!
Welcome to the most must-see WWE talk show in history. Welcome to
the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better! It's still real to me, damn it!
Hello and welcome to The Bottom Line, a weekly review show where we give you the gist of what happened with a lighthearted opinion from a heavy Mark brain. This is The Bottom Line of WWE Monday Night Raw, November 28th, 2022. You're listening to the Cream of the Crop Wrestling Podcast, the podcast where we're here even if you're not. We are the social outcast of the program. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob, and please embrace the Kingdom of the Madness by be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Pat, we got some new rivalries started tonight.
Some continued rivalries as well that I'm not fairly too happy about, but we'll see how it goes. If you could give us one word to describe this show, what would you give us?
I would say tonight's word is going to have to be subpar.
I couldn't agree with you more. Well, the show began with a quick view of the Bloodline arriving at the arena. Rob, did you notice how Jay and Sammy were just being really friendly?
Oh, they're like best friends now. Some would say like brothers,
Yeah, they were cracking it up, high-fiving all through their walk there. Kind of a different light.
Oh, absolutely. I was loving it. I'm going to enjoy the next probably 2 months of just crazy Zayn and Uso loviness before we get to the inevitable Zayn turn on the Bloodline or the Bloodline turn on Zayn.
Well, let's move on to the first thing to happen in the night, which was the man Becky Lynch coming out to the ring. But then she goes into the crowd, and we get a promo from the stands. Bayley limps down to the ring and interrupts Becky. Then we get a promo between the two of them. Becky still in the stands, and that's when Io Sky and Dakota Kai come down behind her. Then Bayley heads them up the stands and into the merch area. And Becky just proceeds to beat the hell out of Damage Control by herself. Rob, what do you have to say about this?
This was an interesting way to start the show. You don't really see a lot of promos starting off in the crowd, so that was kind of cool going out there. Meeting with the fans. Good old Bobby out there. Bobby was such a respectful guy. I really enjoyed him.
Shout out to Bob.
And shout out to Bob. Crowd was cheering for him as well. Don't remember the name of the other guy. He was a little less friendly, I would say.
Unsettling. Maybe too friendly.
Something like that. Becky backed away from him pretty quickly. So, but I liked I liked the promo, and we're setting up. So, I was listening to Sala Monster, and out of the four horsewomen of WWE with like the Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte, I guess we've never properly gotten a Bayley and Becky feud, and I didn't realize that, so we're going to get that now, so I'm okay with that. Add on top of it, it was really cool to see them go out into the crowd to where there's booths and merchandise area and using money in the bank lunchbox. I think, was there like a fake gold chain? And then you have Io Shirai, who's also in a neck brace as well. So selling the effects from the War Games match as well as a fun new way to start a new feud and a fun new brawl that we don't see as much now in that area as we used to back in the day.
Well, let's start the first match of the night, which is Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim. Dominic Mysterio is at ringside. The match starts with a decent back and forth. Rhea took control for Mia Yim to rally. Dominic would cause the distraction and get pulled in the ring by Mia. Then AJ Styles comes out, and the ref calls for the bell. Priest and Finn Balor come out. Then the OC come out. They get in a brawl, and then the Judgment Day gets away and heads up the ramp to leave, and that's when AJ grabs a microphone and says, "This is going to end right now," and he challenges them to a 8-man tag match. Rob, what do you think about this promo?
Promo-wise, it was... I'm going to give Styles so much credit. He has sounded so much more fiery and like really on top of his game when it comes to promos lately, and I think the OC being there has been helpful. on that front. So promo-wise, it was a good promo. But before we talk about the match, because I'll let you talk about it, I don't understand why we just didn't have this match. I understand you needed Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley for War Games, but I don't understand why we just didn't have this match at Survivor Series. Like, that would have made way more sense to me than having it here on Raw. So, yeah, it was kind of weird to me. I'm okay with the setup. I know they have a lot of time to fill, things of that nature, but it was just, I felt like this match could have easily taken place on the pay-per-view.
We'll come back to your thoughts there. Let me talk about the match real quick. We get the 8-man tag match between the OC and the Judgment Day. They all brawl it out before the match, and the match gets underway, and the OC have the Judgment Day on the defensive at first. Then the Judgment Day take control with the effort of Damian Priest. They isolate Carl Anderson, it seems like forever, until AJ Styles gets the hot tag. Gallows takes out Priest on the announcer's desk. AJ almost had it won, but Rhea would prevent the pin, and it was down to Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim. Mia body slams Finn Balor, and she went for Dominic. Looks like she was about to do a DDT, but then Rhea came from behind with the Riptide. Judgment Day beat the OC. Rallying back to your thoughts, the one positive about all this is I do like the setup. The fact that we get the one-on-one match, and then then it turns into the 8-man tag, and then the 8-man tag boils down to the two women that started the match at the beginning.
That part was interesting, yeah. So that was something that I did enjoy watching it. So throughout the match, there was a lot of fun spots in there. I loved getting the chance to see Rhea Ripley actually inflict pain on Carl Anderson. Like, so she's starting to get those China spots, which I'm really enjoying a lot because she has the size and the look that says it's realistic when she inflicts pain on a male superstar. So I like that a lot. The spot, Gallows really tackled Priest over the table. That was a great spot. And Corey Graves sold that excellent commentary. He made it seem like it was something very, very intense. So kudos to him. I really dug the Mia Yim slamming Finn Balor spot. And only because...
Callback to Rhea slamming Gallows.
Yes. Oh, very much so. And only because, like, Mia Yim doesn't come across... She's, like, not a power lifter. Like, I mean, she's an in-shape human being, but she's not like a power lifter type woman. She is your very standard woman's wrestler. And so seeing her do a slam on Finn, which Finn oversold it even, like a champ. So love him in that role completely. So kudos to him for doing that bump. But that was such a fun spot. You're not going to see a regular body slam pop the crowd very often anymore. So I think when a woman does it on a man is about the only time we're going to get a spot kind of like that. So that was an awesome, awesome spot. And I love Mia is about to essentially hurt Dom. And that's when Rhea steps in because she's got to protect her man. She's got to protect her man. And so Rhea steps in, gets the victory, which she should. So the 8-man tag was awesome. I enjoyed it immensely. I just wish it was on the pay-per-view. That would have made more sense in my head.
I like how they're trying to build Mia as just as dominant as Rhea is, for the Judgment Day. They're both the same height. And Rhea is always fairly tall compared to her competition. So for her to be matched up with someone that's, can go blow for blow, power for power, it's an interesting matchup and definitely a good choice in Mia Yim, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, one of the things I saw out there, and this is just very, very little like nitpicky, and this is a positive when I say this. When AJ first came out there to interfere in the match and protect, I would say, Mia Yim, there was a scene that he literally went over and hugged her, kind of like asking her if she's okay, and like it really like solidified to me the bond that like she's actually a member of this OC group. She's not just, it's not the OC and Mia Yim. It's just they're the OC, and I really enjoyed seeing something like that.
Well, let's move on because the next thing we see is a shot from earlier in the day, and the Street Profits, Montez Ford and D'Angelo Dawkins, are making their return and arriving in the arena, but they're cut off by Chad Gable and Otis. We had a funny back and forth promo, and this sets up for a match later tonight between the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. What do you have to say about all this, Rob?
Good to have the Street Profits back. I could do without the short jokes. That's very Vince McMahon. We don't really need those anymore. Chad Gable has established himself as awesome, so let's move on past that part.
Well, let's go to the ring because the Bloodline come down We get a promo from them all. Jimmy said for the first time there are no cracks in the bloodline. Then Sammy says the way Jay accepted him in the family at War Games, the way he embraced Sammy, that was pretty oozy. They have a group hug, and just when you think Solo Sikoa is going to crack and join in on the hug, Kevin Owens comes out. KO says he's not mad at Sammy for what he did. He understands for all the times he's betrayed him in the past. He doesn't want to fight Sammy. He doesn't want to tag with Sammy. He's just done with Sammy. Sammy then says he has the same sentiments. But then main event, Jey Uso speaks up, and this sets up a match with Kevin Owens later on. Rob, what do you think about this?
This was a fun promo. Like, I loved the whole, Jey Uso coming out there and saying Kevin Owens is bad because Sammy's not his dog anymore. And that's because Sammy's the Bloodline's dog. And then Sammy just goes, my dog. Just awesome stuff like that. I love the whole group hug and trying to get Solo Sikoa on it. Solo sells is so great. I just still no smiling, contemplating like you think he's about to do it, and then Kevin Owens' music hit. And then Kevin, dude, like no one sells like a promo like this guy does to me. Like he one day can be so animated and so intense, but then when something really hits him and strikes a chord with him and emotionally, like he came out there and when he just said, I don't want anything to do with you, man, like I'm just done. He sounded like someone in a relationship that's been in that's been up and down and super turbulent for years and years and years, and they're finally just so exhausted and there's no emotion behind it, there's no nothing. They just look at them and they just say, I'm just done. And that, oh man, that really hit hard. And then I love the whole scene there where Jay tries to interrupt again and then Kevin just turns it up and is just like, maybe done with Sammy, but I'm not done with you, Jay. And so, of course, that sets up for the main event that night. So excellent promo. It's going to start setting up for the eventual match that we assume is going to be Roman and Kevin at Rumble. So excited to see how it goes.
Let's go backstage where we see Candice LeRae. Kathy Kelly catches up to Candice for an interview, and that's when Candice tells us she's going to take out Dakota Kai tonight for what they did to her a few weeks ago. What do you think about Candice LeRae being back, Rob?
Another body on the roster. I think she's a great worker. She can put on excellent matches. So I was always so either I assumed that she was going to be the fifth member of the Damage Control because we never saw her get beat up on camera. So we thought maybe that it was a ploy. But even if it wasn't, and she wanted to get her vengeance, then why wasn't she just also the fifth member? I don't know. Like I would have, again, any way that you could have got Mia Yim and Rhea Ripley out of the match and put someone else in the match. So that, I don't know. Otherwise, I'm complaining to complain. Candice LeRae is back. I'm excited to have Candice LeRae back. She puts on excellent matches, as we will see later. So anytime you get someone like her back on the roster, it's a positive.
Important to note that Becky fought Damage Control by herself. Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss didn't show up to help her. And now we see Candice LeRae back from injury, who's going to take on a member of Damage Control, still has a bone to pick probably with all three of them, right? So,
right.
Looks like it's going to be Becky and Candice LeRae at odds with Damage Control. I'm interested to know, and the other thing is that's interesting is that you don't see Nikki Cross anywhere by Damage Control.
I think Nikki Cross was kind of on loan, man. Like, I'm actually kind of in belief that she just wanted to be a part of that match, and she's not really a member of Damage Control. So, same with Rhea Ripley. You know, she's part of the Judgment Day. She was just there to be in the match and do her part. But I did notice that no babyfaces came to help Becky Lynch at the beginning when she was a 3-on-1 attack, and I didn't understand that. Like, why didn't Bianca come? Why didn't Asuka come? Alexa, we'll talk about her a little later. So, yeah, it was interesting.
Definitely some food for thought. Before we get to our next match, we see Matt Riddle and Elias being interviewed by Byron Saxton backstage. They talked about how it feels like they've been tagging for years and how they beat the Alpha Academy last week, so maybe they should go for the tag team titles. And that's when the Usos and Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa walked up, and the Usos say that they are the twos and the Bloodline are the ones, and that's when Elias challenges them to a title match. And the Usos say, anytime, any place. What do you think about Elias and Matt Riddle getting a tag team championship match after beating one tag team in the Alpha Academy who loses all the time.
This is the dumbest booking that Triple H has done yet. Like, I can let go of some stuff, man, but this is ridiculous. There is no point of this team challenging for the tag titles. I have nothing to say about this. I don't want to say anything.
You better
negative,
hold your breath. You better hold your breath,
Okay.
because I think it's a possibility that we see Elias and Matt Riddle taking the tag team championships.
No.
That would be the dumbest booking yet.
Oh, gosh. Like, everyone, this is a positive show, but when you see something like this, we cannot hold our tongue. Like, we have to say something. A tag team that has only won a match. They've only been in a match, and yet they're going to challenge for the tag team championships? Please enlighten me where the entire knowledge is behind this. I don't get it.
Granted, the tag team that's been probably more prominent than the Usos in the tag team division has been the Alpha Academy. Right? They've been putting on stellar matches the past few months.
Correct.
But they lose all the time. And they lose especially when they're together.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. The Alpha Academy are, on the card, they are a step ahead of, like, Hit Row and Maximum Male Models. They're just above them. Now, as wrestlers, they are miles and miles ahead of them. But when it comes to on the card of actually being taken seriously as a tag team that could win titles, that's where they are. So, I am just lost by all of this. Like, there are so many better... I know we've seen the Usos and the New Day multiple times. I'll watch that again. I would rather... That makes more sense to me, even though it's overbooked like crazy. And I know you don't want to put the Viking Raiders in there because you don't want the Viking Raiders to take the loss yet. Let the Viking Raiders keep beating teams up. But, man, like, you could have done... Gallows and Anderson. What are we waiting for on that one?
Well, let's move on to the match, which is the Street Profits, Montez Ford, and D'Angelo Dawkins versus Alpha Academy, Chad Gable, and Otis. They have a decent back and forth, with the Street Profits showing little to no ring rust during this match. Dawkins got the hot tag, and Montez Ford even body slams Otis for a big spot. Street Profits pick up the win. Rob, what do you think about the Street Profits being back in the tag team division?
Dude, very excited to see them back. Like, they're not my favorite team, man, but they can hype up a crowd like no one's business. So, hey, Hit Row, if you want to see how to get over, check these guys out. Like, check them out when they come out for their music, when they come out to interact with the crowd. That's how you get over. So, good to have them back. Montez Ford is a star. Angelo Dawkins has improved so much in this past year. Like, that dude, if you could have a most improved player on the WWE roster, he is top 3 in that one for sure. Definitely slimming down too, like getting a little bit more athletic, so good on him. And then you're in the ring with Otis and Chad Gable, who we just talked about are, two of the top 10 wrestlers in the whole company, especially Gable, who's a top 3. So you're going to have a great match. It was fantastic. It was fun. But just good to have the Profits back. I always enjoy them.
Yeah, this was a good callback to the feud that we've gotten this past year, the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. I also want to say that I expect the Street Profits to get a tag team title shot right after Elias and Matt Riddle, since they just beat the Alpha Academy.
Continuity, they better.
Well, let's move on to the next thing, which is the new United States champion, Austin Theory, coming down to the ring. We get a promo from the two-time. He tells us he's not a kid anymore, he's the now, and the Austin Theory era begins now. Seth Rollins interrupts him and comes down. Seth tells Theory him lucking out doesn't change a damn thing, because deep down in his soul, he knows Monday nights still belong to Seth freaking Rollins. Seth says, "Congratulations, kid." This pisses Theory off, and then Seth tells him if they want to fight, they could do it right here, right now. The Theory says he will fight him, but on the champ's time, then leaves up the ramp. What do you have to say about all this, Rob?
Well, let's get the most important part out of the way. The suit rating for Seth Rollins tonight. And we have a first time ever 0 out of 10, because it was not a suit. It was fishnets, lingerie.
He looked like he borrowed it from
shirt.
Maximum Male Models, did he not?
He looked... You know what, though? He looked good in it. He looked good in it, though. But yeah, it was not a suit. So, I liked the promo a lot. I love Serious Theory. I think he looks so good out there. And is this the official face turn of Rollins? Because we didn't get any of the annoying laugh. We got serious competitor Rollins. So to me, it felt like an actual.
He still played to the crowd, let them sing a song. He still laughed a little bit in Theory's face, but yeah, it was more.
I did love
little temperamental compared to what we've got in the past.
Yeah, that's fair. But I did love the ending of it where, not in the mic, but Rollins just not Rollins, but Theory went right into Rollins' ear and just said, "And I ain't your damn kid," and then he leaves the ring. So I like the storyline here. You got the old guard and the new guard. I know, like, everyone's like, "Oh, Seth Rollins is old." Dude, Seth Rollins has been around for 10 years in WWE, probably another 10 before that. So the dude's old. All right, like. So we got this 24-year-old, however old Theory is, against this 40-year-old. Yeah, we got old guard and new guard here, so I'm excited for it because they put on a match on Raw probably a month ago that was spectacular. So if we get to see that one more time, but get even longer and for the title, yes, please.
No sign of the Almighty or Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, no comment on the Mustafa Ali. Now the Bobby Lashley thing, I don't know. That one kind of surprised me a little bit because I thought he would come out because, to me, Lashley should be first in line because Lashley didn't get pinned. Like Rollins took the pin in the match.
It depends on we've been all over the place on this rematch clause for the past couple of years that I don't know where it lies anymore. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, that's true too. So, but yeah, no Lashley tonight. I think we'll see him again next week, so I'm not too worried about it.
Well, let's go backstage, where we see Byron Saxton catching up with The Miz, who's carrying a bag of money. The Miz then tells us that this match isn't happening tonight, talking about the match between him and Dexter Lumis, because he re-injured his hand, and he has his left hand bandaged. But then that's when Adam Pearce shows up and says that's not the right hand, it was his right hand that was hurt last week, so this match is happening. Dexter Lumis then makes his entrance to the ring, and The Miz comes down. The match gets underway with The Miz carrying away. Miz would try everything to beat Dexter during this match, exposing turnbuckles, putting his feet on the ropes during a pin. He even put a vice grip on Dexter's head. But Lumis was like the Terminator, and he just kept coming back. And he wins it after hitting a Uranagi and makes The Miz tap out to the silencer choke. The match ends with Dexter Lumis signing his contract and takes his bag of money, and he leaves up the ramp, and he even hands out some money to some kid fans. Then The Miz would attack from behind and take the money back from the kids. But Johnny Gargano shows up and super kicks The Miz, gives the money back to the fans, and gives the bag of money back to Dexter Lumis. We get a thumbs up and a hand raise. Looks like Dexter is finally a part of the roster, Rob. What do you have to say about this?
Match-wise, it was fine. I don't know how well Dexter Lumis' matches are going to transfer over to WWE, like main roster. So I'm actually curious a little bit later down the road just to kind of see how everything shapes out on that front. But yeah, it was kind of a silly, over-the-top match or whatever, but Miz sold everything great. Dexter Lumis plays his character to a T. The right guy won. But the aftermath was some of my favorite television. Like, I loved Lumis giving out the money, and then Miz stealing that $100 bill from that kid made me smile so much. It was so BBI. Like, everything about this whole story, like we talked about this last week, it's been so $1 Million Man. Because this is $1 Million Man where he used to just, like, kick the ball away from kids after telling them to dribble it 10 times. He'd flip it away at 9, like that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, The Miz takes it away. And then Gargano coming out for the kick. So, to me, I don't know if it's going to transition into a Miz-Gargano feud, or if that was just like the nail in the coffin that all this is over and we can all move on now. So, we'll have to wait and see on that front. But match was okay. The aftermatch, to me, was some of the best television of the whole show.
Well, I think all of this from the beginning, from The Miz showing up backstage with the bag of money. Like, he's, you know what I mean? Like, he already expects, like, I'm not going to win.
That's true, too.
Byron's like, is that a bag of money? All this was great. I'm interested to see how Dexter's style transfers over as well. But I will say that I don't think the Johnny Gargano and Miz feud is over.
Probably not, but here's to hoping.
Well, let's move on to our next match, which is Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai. Bayley and Io Sky were prevented by Adam Pearce from going to ringside. They have a decent back and forth during this match, trading control. Dakota was probably more on the offense, and they were fairly even matched the entire time. Dakota Kai hits the scorpion kick, and Candice LeRae kicks out of the pin, and then Candice hits a neck breaker off the middle ropes and gets the pinfall. Rob, what do you have to say about this?
This was a fun match, a good way to debut Candice LeRae back into it. There's some fun spots in here, especially with it was kind of like a flatliner on the apron. It wasn't a flatliner, but I don't know what else to call it. So that was a fun spot there. These two women worked really well when they were in NXT together, so it was good to see them have a good match on Raw. Candice needed to get the win here, and I actually think it was Candice was the right person to get the win as well, just due to, Dakota just spent the entire match of War Games 2 nights ago, so I think fatigue had to be setting in for her. And then I like the ending, like the avalanche swinging netbreaker, or whatever they want to call it. That was an excellent way to finish the match. Welcome back, Candice. Nice women's segment.
Candice picking up the win over Damage Control, and it was noted that Bayley and Io Sky were cleared medically, so that's why they couldn't be at ringside. Let's go backstage where the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss are standing by with Kathy Kelly for an interview. We get a promo from Bianca talking about how happy she is about Becky being back and how they won their War Games match. Asuka gives us a promo in Japanese. Kathy goes to Alexa Bliss for a comment, and Alexa was just staring off like she was in another world the entire time. There's a TV screen behind them, and it flashed Bray Wyatt's logo at one point. Rob, what do you have to say about all this?
Again, we kind of talked about this earlier. Where was Bianca and Asuka when Becky was getting beat up? So that kind of weird there. I don't really know what we're doing here. We don't have anything set up for the champion right now, which I'm okay with. You don't always need to have the champion in a feud. I'm perfectly content with that. I'm curious to see what happens with Alexa. To me, she was the main focus here. She was kind of staring off into her own world for a little bit, then kind of came to and was like, oh, yeah, sure, cool. But, so more curious to follow that storyline as we progress forward.
Just a little worried about Asuka being left in the wind.
I think, I hate saying this because I love her so much, but Asuka and Shinsuke are about in the same boat now, where their time has kind of come and gone, and now they're just very popular acts that maybe will occasionally get a title opportunity, but otherwise they are just another face on the roster that the crowd loves.
Well, let's move on to our main event of the show, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa are at ringside. The match gets underway with them both trading offense. Sami kept telling Jey during the match to work on Kevin Owens' back, and Jey listened and started to target KO's back. Jey would control with KO selling the bad back and kicking out of several near falls. Owens would fight back and build up some momentum, causing Jimmy to try to get involved. Owens super kicks him off the apron, and then Solo trips Kevin Owens off the ring apron. Jey sets up for the Uso splash, and then Kevin Owens dodges it and hits Jey with a stunner and gets the pinfall for the win. Rob, what do you have to say about this match?
This was a really, really fun main event match here on Raw, so we should have not expected anything different from these guys. This was a true super kick party. I think Jey Uso hit at least 12 to 13 super kicks on Kevin Owens throughout this match. And there was one, too, that was a legit in-the-air karate kick that landed so intensely. So that was kind of crazy. I really enjoyed that a lot. Kevin Owens selling the back near the end was awesome as he was going for the powerbomb. And I like too, we got a lot of good near falls here with super kicks. Like, we don't see them win with super kicks often, but the way that, like, Sami Zayn and Jimmy were selling it on the outside to the ref, complaining about not having the 3, was making it feel like that this super kick should be the one to end it. So, really, really fun match. Like is it the fisherman suplex off the top rope that Kevin Owens does? Really like that spot a lot. Doesn't pull it out all the time. And then, nice stunner for the win. Got a good 20 minutes out of him, and the right guy went over, and I'd love to see Kevin Owens just kind of, I don't want to say go through the whole bloodline, because I don't want to see Solo Sikoa take a pin, and I don't want to see him touch Zayn until later. But if he can spend the next couple of weeks beating up on Jay and Jimmy, leading up to the match with Roman, I am totally down for that.
Or main event Jay. What is another? We get main event Jay, but main event Jay doesn't win a lot of main events, does he?
He does not, and I have a feeling that the Tribal Chief is going to have something to say to him on Friday about this.
Ooh, I just forgot all about the Tribal Chief being very, very disappointed. Cannot wait. Let's talk about some of our favorite moments of the night, beginning with our least favorite moment, the near fall of the night. Rob, what is your near fall?
It is Riddle and Elias challenging for the Tag Team Championships, whenever that's going to be.
Couldn't agree with you more, and I'm going to stop myself because I don't have anything else to say.
Ranted enough.
Was there any crazy moves or specifics move in the night that you like? What's your bump of the night?
So bump of the night, there's a couple I really enjoyed. The Candice LeRae Avalanche Swing Neckbreaker was great, but I'm going to go with the Jey Uso, like the karate super kick. There was a lot of standard super kicks there, but this one was just different and hit hard, and I was thoroughly impressed with it.
I'm going to have to go with Mia Yim body slamming Finn Balor out of nowhere. Just the surprise of it. I was not expecting to see that, and it put Mia Yim on a different perspective in my book, so it makes me happy. Was there a showstopper of the night, Rob?
Yes, so tonight the showstopper was The Miz stealing a $100 bill from a child in the crowd. That was, oh gosh, I loved everything about that.
I'm going to have to agree with you again, because that was, from beginning to end, that whole match and segment was great. Looks like Dexter is finally done with The Miz. Well, let's talk about the best match of the night. What was the barn burner of the night?
We had a couple good ones tonight. I really enjoyed the 8-man tag. I thought that Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai put on a good match, but the main event to me was stole the show. I thought main event Jey Uso and Kevin Owens put on a really, really good main event for this Raw.
I agree with you. The main event was great. I actually want to pick that as the match of the night, but for me as a fan, the match of the night was that 8-man tag between the OC and Judgment Day. The fact that it started out as a singles match between Mia and Ripley, and then evolved into the 8-man tag that we should have, like you said, gotten in it at War Games. Or, that should be probably a match we redo again later on at a bigger, maybe a special Raw episode or something with a stipulation on it or something like that, just for the final, let's get this feud over with type of match. But yeah, I really enjoyed the 8-man tag because that's what we've all been waiting for a while. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our program. You can show us some love with a like, leave us a comment, and give us a subscribe. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and TikTok. All of our content can be seen on YouTube, and you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Podcast. Until the next episode, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Rob.
And we thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Cream of the Crop Wrestling. You can embrace the madness by finding us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cream of the Crop Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter at Cream of the Crop W. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by typing Cream of the Crop Wrestling in the search bar. Have fun with us on TikTok at Cream of the Crop Wrestling. And you can always find full episodes of the podcast wherever podcasts are found.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah. You know that I'm the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. Oh, yeah.